Incremental readings. So in this video, I will focus on one of the many advantages of incremental reading, and that is the massive learning through incremental reading. Massive in the sense of size. So first, we know that incremental reading is a method or a collection of methods that allows you to study multiple topics simultaneously. Simultaneously doesn't mean at the same time that one eye is in every different page. Now, means that before you finish one, you start another one. Like if you watch TV shows, while you are in season 2 of that TV show, you are watching this other TV show at the same time. It's an English grammar thing. Then, and in incremental reading, there's no strict need to complete any subject before starting another. Exactly. It's not like in a school that you have a curriculum. And nope, you have to finish this thing, this section, until you start the other one, right? And you have the exam, you start the next one, and so on. You can do whatever you want. Most likely you will start many things without finishing most of that. So knowing that is the benefits of parallel study, which could be like at the same time, at the end of the day, means in parallel. First is flexibility. I can switch subjects. I'm learning about business. I'm in a startup. There's plenty of things I need to know, at least the basics, or I get into trouble. Or let's say some marketing, or for instance, this course that I'm doing, right? Or how to speak in public, or be an, let's say, influencer, quote unquote, micro-influencer, should I say. Or my own interest could be even a video game. Can I go meta and also be, what's being published about space repetition in science? At the same time, I'm also curious about language, about this, about that. So plenty of subjects. Since I have this in parallel, I can switch subjects, but not just a field of study. That from business, I go to linguistics, let's say. That's a macro change, but also within the same subject. That is just, cognitive. Let me do some examples. So I have health. Could be one of the examples I usually use is fasting. So I could switch between intermittent fasting and some chemical that is being added as a preservative in food, something like that. That is about health, but it's not the same degree as it's this law in economics, oh wow, it's a major change in topic. Then the breadth. You're gonna explore a vast array of topics without artificial limitations because you have no curriculum. And the depth, we have seen before, the deep reflection, so you can go as deep as you want. If the material is too complex, you can go and iterate on that, because every iteration, you will have more knowledge than before. Eventually, you will have matched all of the requirements. So it will be complex at some degree, but suitable for you. So at the end of the day, it's just a matter of time. And you can go as deeper as you want. In my case, in Supermemo, it's kind of meta, I went super deep. I know a lot of tiny details. I have done, let's say, diminishing returns of knowledge about Supermemo. Then, removing traditional constraints. That's especially true if you come from the school system and you just start using Supermemo, because there's no barrier. The software doesn't impede to do that. It's just a self-constraint from you, that you're so used to this flow that you don't conceive any other different solution. So what happens with traditional reading requires sequence. That I start a book, pam, 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 pam. I finish that book, let's say math. Next year, I will have the next book, textbook, da, 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 da. So there's like an order, linear order within the book and for books. That first this book, then this other book, this for math, this for science, this, That's the traditional approach. In incremental reading, that's not true. You can do whatever you want. You are free from the linear approach. That's the key word. Linear. You're going to study first multiple domains, science, story, arts, technology in parallel, and within each one, also in parallel. Because I could say, history about the US, history about China, or even much before, like in Egypt. So not in the same period of the year, or many stuff. Then what happens? Because you are now in massive learning, there's already too much information. The staggering volumes of knowledge available to you now, because we have access to the internet and everything, that we take for granted, but before it was not like that. It's way too much. So what happens is that there's information overflow. We will never be able to consume all of the information we want. That's guaranteed. But with incremental reading, it's the method or collection of methods that you will be able to process all of the information. It's enormous. So, albeit not enough, is the method that you can consume the most information. And it's not just about the size, which this is the point of this video. At the same time, it's the quality. You get both. Size, quality, and duration. Incremental reading wins in every single dimension. It's the best thing you can do for learning. Then, you're going to study dozens or even hundreds of topics concurrently. And if you really stretch it, thousands if you want. There's no imposed limitation. The only limitation is your biological limitations of lifespan, that you will eventually pass away. But you could keep going, and your brain could allow that parallelism. Then, only time and memory impose limits on how much you can learn. Yes? So I just said that you can go further if we had more lifespan, but still there's a limit. That's a topic for another video. There are some hypotheses about 300,000 facts at the same time that you could retrieve at any point, stuff like that. But whatever that is, there's a limit of learning you can do each day. And since each day is limited, you would also have limited days. Because even if you live 100 years, so you live 36,000 days and so on, that will be the imposed limitation. So practical implications. So you have a more comprehensive overview or worldview. It's not that like a PhD that will have a very deep understanding of something very niche in any domain in science. And for the rest, is, I don't know, right? Or just the basics. In incremental reading, you could have intensities, let's say that, I really read this thing and this other thing, so you will know the equivalent of a PhD or even more, if you will, but you also have more knowledge of different stuff, many different domains. That's actually an advantage. It's an overkill of an advantage. So you have understanding in multiple fields at once. And this, for creativity and problem solving, it's boss. Then, but that is not the point of this video. I will cover it eventually. Greater creativity, just because you have different connections of different fields of science, you can see connections that no one else can see because they have this narrow knowledge. And even if they communicate between them as humans, that, hey, I have an intensity in biology and I have an intensity in neuroscience or AI, it's not the same brain. So imagine if you have this as a polymath. That anything in semantic can be retrieved and you see those connections that, hey, this in biology can be expressed in a mathematical sense. And all of that, the beauty of this. Then, you have the enhanced adaptability. You can quickly pivot to new areas of knowledge. There are some areas that they still don't exist today. In some years, they will emerge. Or sub areas of knowledge, let's say. Or hybrid. an inner join of two, like cognitive neuroscience or social psychology. Now you have psychology, you have behaviorism, and then you have the merits and all of that. So whatever that is, if you use incremental reading, it will be easier to transition to that. Then keep massive learning in check. Time management. So because of the priorities and many staff, you can decide the amount of time you spend in each topic. If you put more high priorities on topic A, at the end of the day, you will spend more time on topic A, even if you do a lot of interleaving and all of that. Memory strategies, especially spaced repetition. So whatever you do, at the end of the day, with incremental reading, you will get the result with you, stays with you, because spaced repetition will allow you to keep in long-term memory what you have decided to remember, as easy as that. And you have the incremental approach. So you don't have this overwhelming information that, yeah, that's massive. Like imagine a medical student that, boom, those are the books for medicine. So for anatomy, physiology, here you go, bam. No, it's incremental. So at the end of the route, some years, and even decades, you will have achieved what a person with not using incremental reading will not achieve in their lifetime, ever. As easy as that. Incrementally, not at the beginning. Let's say that one person graduates from medical school and quote unquote knows all of that because the amount of forgetting is massive. But let's simplify that, keeps 90% of what has learned as if he had used incremental reading. I would say, hey, at this stage, that guy is better, knows more. Even if in this scenario, hypothetical scenario, this could be true, it's just a matter of time. Because in incremental reading, it's incremental iteration, it's permanent. Every victory is permanent. Small victory, but it's permanent. So imagine with time and time, as long as you like what you do, interest you, you use priorities and all of that, and you keep doing iterations, you could be the equivalent of multiple PhDs if you want. I don't like the expression, but it's, so you know that the PhD means a very narrow view, but in very depth. Someone that dedicates their life to that specific thing. Massive. Oops, sorry. So conclusions to wrap up this video. Incremental reading enables massive learning capabilities. So you will know many facts, thousands, hundreds of thousands of facts, but those facts are semantically connected, make sense, are retrievable, and they can be walked through those connections. Compare this to hundreds of thousands of random facts of when this person was born, who won the Nobel Prize, what's the capital of that country, that they are not connected to each other. Then, study an unlimited number of subjects in parallel. There's no limit. You put the number based on what you like. And you unlock deeper insights through flexible, non-linear approach to education or learning. That's the key. If you do not understand or you fail to implement the non-linear approach in your flow, you will be capped. One of your goals is this, non-linear flow. Then priorities. Just with this, you will be the genius version of yourself. As easy as that. This has been the advantage only for massive learning. There are more. But for now, it's enough. See you incrementally.